So, now that you're going back to school, some things to think about when, you had a good summer, I hope, right? When you go back to school, is everybody treated the same way at school? Is everybody treated the same way?
Nope.
No? How are some of the differences?
Oh.
Is that working?
I guess so. Okay. The incoming freshmen are treated a lot differently.
Okay, so in high school, how many of your high schoolers? The incoming freshmen are treated differently. How many of your freshmen? Uh-oh. Watch it, Marcus. You're pretty big, though. I don't think they're going to fool with you too much. So how are some of the, you know what freshmen are? Those of you who are in high school, freshmen are the people who is in their first year of high school. So they're the youngest in the crowd. So how do you think the youngest in the schools are treated by the older ones? How do you think they are?
Bad.
They're treated bad. Okay. Yeah. How many of you have like big brothers and sisters and you're the little one? Huh? How do you get treated? Huh? Miss Beverly, you want to take some of the answers over there? How are you treated by a big brother or sister?
I don't have any big brothers or sisters.
You don't have a big brother or sister. All right.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. How are big brothers and sisters treat little brothers and sisters?
Like you're the little one and youngest and you're little.
Yeah, you're little, you're youngest, you don't know too much, right? They're smarter than you are, they're bigger and better than you are. How many of you have bigger brothers or sisters who act like that? Yeah, well, that's what seniors and juniors do in high school, okay? So, how about other reasons why people are treated differently? How about people who play sports? Are they treated differently from people who don't play sports?
Yes.
How are they treated differently?
Because they play sports and some other people don't.
Right, and they think do sports players think they're better than the people who don't play
Yes.
sports? Yes, sometimes, but not our kids. Right? How many of you play sports?
You play sports?
Yeah, are you better than the kids who don't play sports?
No.
All right, put you on the spot there. Okay.
All right, wait.
How about kids who get better grades and everything in school? Are they treated differently from the?
Yes, because they're like the teacher pet.
They're like the teacher's pet. See how we got the conspiracies going already? Okay, yeah. I mean, the kids who get the good grades, they're kind of treated a little bit better, maybe, right? Do they think they're smarter than everybody else? Do they? Yeah. You think they are? You think they are? See?
Well, they're getting good grades.
Well, they're getting good grades, right? So that makes them smarter than everybody. Do you agree with that? No, it just means that they can take the tests better and they can do the readings better maybe, but not necessarily smarter than everybody. So in school, right, there are different ways that people are treated differently. Some people are treated better than others, and some people aren't treated as quite as good. What you got for me? Oh, thank you. It's your beret. I don't do that. That's a girl thing, okay? You go take that to Miss Beverly. She'll do it for you. Thank you. Okay, so and sometimes in school, how many of you know people who think they're better than everybody else, right? And are they shy about that? What do?
They like make fun of other people.
They make fun of other people. And how do they talk about themselves? What do?
Brag.
They brag a lot, right? And so they think that they're better than other people. And they expect to be treated better than other people, right? Are they better than everybody else? Well, in today's gospel story, Jesus tells a story about people sitting at a table for a banquet. Were you paying attention to that? And what did he tell folks about where you should sit when you go to a banquet?
In a good spot.
He told you should sit in a good spot? So it's amazing how Jesus gets interpreted around here. So, but Jesus warned you actually about taking a good spot, didn't he? Because if you take a good spot, what might happen?
They might make you move and you'll be embarrassed.
Yeah, if you take a good spot and there's somebody else who's more important, then they might make you move to a lesser spot, right? And then you would be embarrassed, right? So what does he say? Which spot should you take, should he say?
The bad spot.
The bad spot. And then what's the idea? If you take a bad spot, what will happen next?
That you'll be moved to a better spot.
That you'll be moved to a better spot, right? So my first question is, when you all come to church, where do you sit? Where do you sit, Caden? You sit with your mom over here, probably about the third row back, right? Where do you all sit? You sit over there with your family over there, with your mom there, your dad's on retreat, right? Or is, yep. All right, where do you sit? You sit over there with Aunt Val, okay. Oh, we got some more back here. Where do you all sit?
Inside the worst side.
Whoever gets
Sit
to the
on the
worst
worst
side
side.
gets to the better side.
You sit on the better side. So what's the worst side of the church?
I sit on a normal side.
You sit on the normal side?
I'll sit shark.
So why do you, how many of you sit where you sit just because that's where you always sat and that's where your family sits and everything like that? Okay. How many of you sit where you sit because you want a better view of things, so it's better to see if you're up front? A couple of you. How many of you sit all the way in the back because you don't want anybody to see you and you want to just kind of hide out there? Yeah, we know who you all are. Well, Jesus uses this taking of a seat as a way of how people judge themselves and other people, right? So Jesus is saying that if you take a seat up front, maybe it's because you think you're good and you want everybody to see you, right? And if you take a seat in the back, it's maybe because you're shy and you don't want anybody to see you, right? Sort of something like that. But does Jesus say that it's bad to sit in the back or it's bad to sit in the front? No. You see, it's okay to be who you are, right? If you want to be shy, it's okay to be shy. And if you want to be up front, it's okay to be up front. But what Jesus doesn't want you to be is to pretend to be somebody else. How many of you ever knew someone who pretended that they were better or smarter or faster or whatever? What was that like when someone pretends to be somebody else?
It was like they were lying the whole entire time, so it wasn't legit.
So it's like they're not telling the truth, right? They're lying about it. And then how do they make other people feel? How many times do people judge you and they decide what you're like?
Sometimes they make you mad or sad.
Sometimes they make you mad or sad by the things that they say about you, right? But how does God feel about all that? How does God feel about you?
How does God?
Caden?
He probably feels sad about the people who get pushed around and get made fun of.
Yeah, how many of you think Jesus and God feel sad when people are pushed around and made fun of?
Since they're lying.
Since they're lying? Yeah. Because Jesus knows who you really are, doesn't he? And in the story that he tells, basically what he's saying is, don't be anybody other than who you are. Okay? Because if you think you're better than everybody else and you take the best place, then in the long run, God's going to do what? He's going to knock you down a few pegs, right? God's going to say, no, you know, that's not who you are. You're not as good as you may think you are. But on the other side, if you don't think you're all that good and people are putting you down and making fun of you, and Jesus knows better, what's Jesus going to say in the long run?
You're better than you think you are.
You're better than you think you are, right? And as a result, he's going to say, take a better place at the table. Did you want to say something, Isaac?
Yes. He does do some bad things.
Okay, I think he wanted to sing a song.
What? Oh, okay. So basically, how many of you know what the word humble means? How many of you have ever heard the word humble, right? Humble. Anybody want to take a shot at defining what humble means?
I'll hold it. You just talk.
What's humble mean?
What is humble?
Humble means it's
Not so great, huh?
That's a
not
hard
so
word.
great. Yeah.
It's a what? All right.
I mean, it's humble. Yes.
Okay, they enjoyed the microphone more than anything
Yeah.
else.
Okay. You want to try? You want to try what humble means?
I think humble means you're insecure of yourself, but you're calm in the making.
Okay, so some people think humble means, right, that you're a little insecure of yourself and you're okay with it. Do you have a definition of humble, Ari?
I was gonna say to not have too much pride and not to take so much credit, but you know that I can't.
Okay, well that's actually, I would say most people think that definition, right? That humble means not taking too much credit for what you've done, knowing who you are, right? But you know, so a lot of times people think of humble means putting ourselves down a little bit, right? Not talking about ourselves in a good way as much. But you see, Jesus tries to teach us that for God and for Jesus, humble means something else. Humble means knowing how God sees you, knowing who God made you to be, and being willing to accept who you are and to take credit for the things that you have done well and not to feel too bad about when you make mistakes. Because humble means you are God's daughter or son, you're God's children, and God knows who you are. So don't let anyone else tell you anything different, okay? So if you're feeling bad about yourself, or others are making fun of you, like we said before, God's going to say, hey, you know that you're better than that. And being humble may mean taking credit for the things that you've done and being proud of what you've done and sticking up for yourself for what you've done. Okay, so humble doesn't always mean to make yourself lower than everybody else. It means taking your rightful place at the table. And that was what the story was all about. Those people took the wrong place at the story, right? Some took it too high and some took it too low. And what Jesus says in the end, God is going to put everybody in the right place. Because there's a place for all of us in God's world. And so when you're out there and you're doing your thing, whatever it is, always remember how God sees you and always take the place that God wants you to have. And don't let anybody tell you anything different. Okay? Think you can do that? All right. Well, thanks for all your help. Okay. You can go back to your, unless you want to sing. You want to sing with the choir?